to its fullest, and not just, you know, sitting around and letting our days pass, because we're here for a reason, and there are amazing things to do and experience. And so along the trail there are just these amazing, in my opinion, divine and mystical occurrences that continue to happen, that just unfolded on this journey of life. And one of my all-time favorite stories is when I was in the San Bernardino National Forest.
All right, they say there's San Bernardino.
San Bernardino.
Yeah.
This was 2 weeks into the trail, still in the Southern California desert. I was hiking with two other girls I had met on the trail, Salt Lick and Pandora, who became my team before Big Spoon and I paired up. But I had run into Big Spoon a few times up to this point, but we weren't hiking together yet. And that night on the trail, it was very cold in the desert. We were camping on Mission Creek, and Big Spoon had actually hiked 27 miles that day. I didn't know this at the time.
God, Strider.
27 miles that day to catch up to me. And I didn't realize this, but he built a fire that night for everybody. He's an incredible
Fire master.
Yeah, just incredible. I mean, he can make a fire out of anything. And so we sat together and we just kind of talked, and he showed me, or I guess I showed him, this red rock I had found on the trail earlier that day that I just thought was really pretty. And he kind of looked it over, and I found out later he was really into fossil hunting and artifacts and things like this. And so later that night I have this dream, and it actually snows that night in the desert. This is the first time it snowed in the desert, in this 100-degree, you know, weather
during the day.
World.
Yes.
And the next day it snowed, but that night it also snowed. And so that night I have a dream. I'm in my tent, my little one-person tent, and I'm in this mystical field, and it's very misty, and the field is just beautiful. And there's this really bright light shining up from the middle of the field. And so I walk over to it, and I'm just so curious. What is this light? What is this light? And I bend down and I pick it up, and it's this beautiful crystal, just very rugged, and it's very uneven, but it's just beautiful and pure and just bright. And I pick it up and I just feel so secure with it in my hand. So later that day, I'm actually hiking with Big Spoon, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the beauty of the snow, the brightness of the snow in the desert, but I tell him about my dream, and he stops, and he turns around, he looks at me, and he pulls something out of his pocket.
I can see it coming.
And he says, "Is this the stone in your dream?" And it was the very same crystal in the dream. I'm actually wearing it on my neck right now. You all can't see this, but it's the very, very same crystal. It's a Herkimer diamond, and it was his power stone that his mother had bought for him and given to him. He's from New Jersey.
For the trip.
Here, for the trip. And so I just look at it, I'm in awe, I'm dumbfounded, and I'm like, "Have you shown me that before?" And he goes, "Never. I've never shown you that before."
He showed you that day when you showed him that rock. He had it up here.
Right. And so it was just one event like that after the other, which led to our marriage, which led to the journey that we continued to take after our marriage. I mean, the book continues to unfold even after our marriage in just these amazing ways, and this is just one story of that. But for me, that's one of my favorite stories.
I am all over that, and I don't doubt one scintilla of that story and exactly the way it happened, because I have stuff like that happen to me, and you cannot explain that away.
Right.
And I can tell, and because I am who I am, most people go, "You are so full of it, Stiles," and they just laugh it off and they move on, because I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories, but I have no reason to lie about such things. I don't. The more you recognize them, the more they will happen too. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt in my mind. I can sit there and think to myself, y'all are meeting. You have shown him a stone that meant something to you. His thoughts immediately go to the one that he's got on him, that he's thought about. When I was climbing that mountain, which, by the way, down in Mexico, it's the second highest mountain in North America.
Wow. It's
the one right behind you, that one-armed man there, the first Paralympic person to ever summit Mount Everest, lost his arm on Orizaba.
Wow.
But I had on a rosary. I'm not Catholic, but we had been in Puebla, Mexico, the day before we went up to the small village at the base of the mountain. And I went into this massive cathedral, this huge church, and came out, and there was this little old lady that was selling just these very rough, made out of soapstone rosaries. Mm-hmm. And I bought one, and I put it around my neck, and on my way up that mountain, you do have to get into a certain mindset where you just become a machine when you're walking like this anywhere, hiking. And I would touch it, and I literally felt like it would give me power. I'm not Catholic. I don't pray to Mary. I don't have any icons, but it meant the world to me. I felt like it got me over a couple of humps. But he's thinking about it. You picked up on it, and you're just laying there that night. You're a big radar dish, and antenna just waiting to pick up something, and you did.
Definitely.
Makes perfect sense.
And it really blew my mind. And yeah, like you said, I mean, there's just so much more going on than what meets the eye, and we all are receptors here.
You just have to be
aware of it. Exactly.
And you're on the trail, and here is a split in the trail, and you've heard that the going right is the best way to go, but something's saying go left, go left, go left, and okay, I'll go left. I'll listen to that little voice, and then you find out later that there'd been a mudslide, or somebody got attacked by a bear, or something just like that. You got to trust those little voices. I'm a big believer. I really am. I mentioned having an epiphany on the Continental Divide. I was by myself up there, no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing. I just windswept rock and me and one little kind of Joshua tree looking thing, only living thing up there other than me. And I just had the most incredible God moment of my entire life. It just, I mean, he was right there with me, and he was going, I'm real tickled that you're up here, and admiring this, I appreciate you liking what I've done, my work, and I'm going, you did a good job, and it was great, and I mean, it's something, again, I can't describe the way that felt, but it was very real, and things like this all the time. Again, the more you're open to it, more it happens. I dreamed one night about kayaking with somebody, a friend, right behind me, and all of a sudden I realized we're on the Niagara River. And the falls are coming up, and I go, I paddle. There's a little island, how it is at the top there, and I barely make it. I turn around, my buddy's gone. I don't even know who it is. I find out 2 days later, a guy from this area has been practicing on the Ocoee, tried to be the first person to ever do a big fall. He's a big fall paddler, and he went over Niagara. They never found it.
Wow.
Now, and at this point, when I'm having this dream, he's been up at the Ocoee all summer, but he was laying there next to the falls and thinking about his trajectory and where he was going. I just picked up on it. I mean, why else would I have such a dream?
Exactly. That's incredible. I believe that too.
So I think it's an amazing thing. I know we got to take our final commercial break, so we'll wrap it up. Why Big Spoon? Do you want to tell me, or do you want her to say? I mean, everybody's got their nicknames on the trail, and people leave notes all over the place. There's places where you check in, and you can kind of keep up with people, and some people are like bigger than life, on the trail. Why Big Spoon?
Oh, Big Spoon, it's a long story, but basically he is the big spoon.
Do you like to spoon? Is that what it is?
He's 6'4". When it comes to sleeping at night, he's
I got you.
And also he's very good at fire, like I said, so it just all goes back to the warmth that he brings to the table.
What was yours?
Mine's hands. My hands, because I wore a desert shirt that had long sleeves, my hands got charred because I didn't cover them up in the desert. They looked browner than bark, and so Big Spoon gave me the name Tan Hands, which got modified to Hands.
Hands. Just hands.
Just hands.
And your imagination could run all kinds of places with that. No wonder you ran 27 miles to catch up with you, And so if you're going to spoon with somebody, you want to spoon with somebody named Hands, right?
Right, I guess so.
Well, I tell you what, best of luck to
Thank
you guys and in your marriage and your life and in any other adventures you have, and getting the book out.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you.
I wish I hadn't run Jet off, but other than that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Thank you so much. I just think I love this story. 11:53. Take one more quick commercial break here for the show.